the twice impeached, twice indicted former president. That is because at any moment, special counsel Jack Smith could hand Donald Trump his third indictment, this time over his efforts to try to overturn his 2020 election loss. And just as a reminder, Donald, you did lose. And it appears like the heat is getting to Trump as he spent the weekend more focused on rage posting on his Twitter, or should I say X knockoff platform, continuing his attacks on the special counsel, Attorney General Merrick Garland, and the entire DOJ, hurling insults and whining about non-existent election interference. And join me now, Harry Litman, former U.S. Attorney and former Deputy Assistant Attorney General, and Miles Taylor, former Chief of Staff at the Department of Homeland Security in the Trump administration. His new podcast is called The Whistleblowers Inside the Trump Administration. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. Harry, I want to start with you. What should we be looking for as signals to whether, if we assume an indictment is coming, whether it's imminent?
It's a great question. I think really there's one main signal, and that is everything they're talking about in terms of witnesses they have to interview, they don't need the grand jury for. But it is customary, and in this case, it will happen that Trump's lawyers will be afforded a final chance to come in and make a last-minute plea, which will not succeed, but they have the opportunity. I don't see why they wouldn't take it. And it's interesting, as you've just noted, that the sort of hysteria levels from Trump are hitting the stratosphere, because this is one thing he would know about. Are we going in? How is this going to work? What is the timing? So to me, the table is set. Smith is ready to go, and that's what the target letter means. Save only. You guys coming in or not? And by the way, you can't take 2 weeks. Come in, have the pitch. After that, here's the indictment.
How often does this pitch ever result in a non-indictment when you come in for that last meeting? How likely is that?
Well, I was U.S. attorney and had those. Occasionally, it would change the charges, perhaps. Not here, only because it's been so carefully thought through. There's a draft indictment that you can be sure has gone up to the front office. So it's not as if DOJ always turns a deaf ear to these things. It might be useful. Here, I think we can be certain that no changes will occur as a result of the meeting, though.
Miles, there is a certain level of hysteria going on amongst Donald Trump's Twitter fingers, or whatever he calls his platform, Truth Social. You know the guy. I don't know him. How afraid do you think he is?
I think he's terrified. I mean, I think that Donald Trump is not worried about this affecting, in general, his overall standing with the MAGA movement. I think what he's worried about, and even jail time, I think really what he's worried about is this is going to give even more ammunition to even more of his political rivals in the primary process. We've already seen Chris Christie and Will Hurd and Asa Hutchinson, seize on his indictments to say, look, the guy may not even be able to take office as president of the United States. He's worried that this is going to make it even more difficult for him. But bigger picture, the concern that I have right now, Joy, though, is as much as Donald Trump is sweating it, and I like to watch him sweating it on TV, we also know what this man does when he gets pushed into a corner, and that is he incites violence. The man has a history of violence. And remember, in the lead up to January 6th, many months before, the year before, he started to